Shalom, shalom, shalom. Let me adjust my volume here. That should be enough. All right. Shalom, shalom, shalom. This is Naaman once again from the Great Millstone Camp here in Washington, D.C. Back for another video. But first and foremost, call Allah Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Rakah Wadash, and of course, double honors. Once again, go out to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone who rule well. I'd like to send salutations out to the fellow Akim that are out there on the highways and the byways. All right. Pushing this truth out there, aided, of course, by the many, many works that go out in the form of videos and such. All right. That go out and disperse throughout the four corners that aid, all right, in the edification, all right, of the hopefully elect of our people. All right. This is what we do. All right, get that message out there while we still can, while time and this devil, ultimately he does what Yahweh Shai allows him to do. But until that day that we're pulled off the corners, hey, we will continue to be out there. All right. This is the copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair uses are used permitted by copyright statutes that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips to balance in favor of fair use. All right? Fair use, fair use, fair use. This is what I'm doing this for. These videos that I use. All right? The information gathered as a result. All right? I am not using this to profit off of by any means. All right? Just as the copyright disclaimer allows, that's what I do. All right, so here we go. What does it say here? This is from the late Neely Fuller Jr. I believe he was. Let's see here. We can easily look it up. I believe he passed away February of 2025. Let's see. All right. All right, let's see. Yep, February. Yep. He was in his early 90s. Actually, 96. Good Lord. Yep. Oh, man. So there you go. He has since passed on. All right. Let's see. All right, here we go. How they control the narrative. And this is in light of what's currently happening with this situation down in Mississippi with the Nolan Wells situation. And how this is also a perfect example. All right, Jake squeals on each other. This is a perfect example of how these people quickly get on code. And if no information is coming out, you're seeing how this investigation is stalling. You see how they're playing this game. When they want to seal shit up, they'll quickly remind each other, don't you say nothing. You gotta understand, this is Mississippi. There's America, and then there's Mississippi. That's just the way it's been. All right, these are some wicked, wicked, wicked. You could say that about the whole dirty South, but when it comes to Mississippi, So let's go ahead and run the video. This is showing you Jake's. I hope that you're understanding what's going on here. For those of you that want to dwell amongst these people, let this be a lesson. Let this be a shining example. All right. It's one thing to be a friend. There's another in being friendly. And for some reason, Jake has not learned the difference. All right. So here we go.
You do not understand white supremacy, what it is, and how it works. Everything else that you understand will only confuse you. Now, sometimes people say, well, you mean everything that I understand will confuse me if I don't understand racism? Yes, because racism is the dominant political and religious motivating force among the people of the planet in all 9 areas of activity: economics, education, entertainment, labor, law, politics, religion, sex, and war. That covers just about everything that any person, minute by minute, might be doing or engaged in any time of day or night, anywhere on the planet. And what is the system of white supremacy? It's a system.
And that's the operative word, system. The system. All right. Remember, let's get the scripture real quick. Remember, we're under the curses. All right. And what did it say? As a result of being under the curses were put upon us because of what? Basically, the breach of contract. All right. The contract was the covenant that we agreed to. And this is Moses here in Deuteronomy 28:1. And it gives the heading here. It says blessings for obedience. So it was pointed out and shown. All right. It says, and it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Most High, whose name is Yahweh, thy God, this is the God of Israel, to observe and to do all his commandments, which I command thee this day, that the Most High thy God will set thee on high above all nations of the earth. Remember, Deuteronomy 7:6 tells us that. We're supposed to be above all nations, right? Verse 2, and all these blessings shall come on thee and overtake thee, all right, if thou shalt hearken unto the voice of the Most High, Yahweh, thy power. And it gives you examples. Blessed shalt thou be in the city, and blessed shalt thou be in the field. No matter where we went on this earth, all right, we'd be blessed, all right. 4, blessed shall be the fruit of thy body, and the fruit of thy ground, and the fruit of thy cattle, the increase of thy kine, and the flocks of thy sheep. So our progeny, our children, will be blessed in that manner. All right. The crops, all right, whatever came of the ground, whatever the ground yielded, all right. Our cattle, all right, whatever flocks that we had, all right, we'll prosper in that. Blessed shall be thy basket and thy store, all right. Our business, ventures, all that, all right. And let's just skip on down, because the mirror image of this is, it tells you in starting in 15. And it tells you the curses for disobedience, all right. And it's just the reverse. Starting with 16, cursed shalt thou be in the city, and cursed shalt thou be in the field. And this is, as it will tell you later on in verses 45 and 46. All right, slack it. All right, that's going to be a sign as to who is who. Because as a result of this, no matter where we went in the world, we would be in low estate. We would not be blessed. And from 16 to 68, these are the curses. I personally call Murphy's Law for the Israelites. Murphy's Law is what? What can go wrong will go wrong. And that's just it, because we're under the curses. All right, now, that's for my point earlier. Let's go down to 48. All right. And it says, therefore, well, I mention 45 and 46, just to get that out of the way. You want to know about these immigrants, that's 43. It says, the stranger that is within thee shall get up above thee very high, and thou shalt come down very low. These immigrants that are allowed to come in our community and siphon the money from us. 44, he shall lend to thee, and thou shalt not lend to him. He shall be the head, and thou shalt be the tail. Moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee, and shall pursue thee, and overtake thee, till thou be destroyed, because thou hearkenest not unto the voice of the Most High Yahweh thy God, to keep his commandments and his statutes which he commanded thee. 46, that is my point. And they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder, and upon thy seed forever. Until those curses are lifted, this is what we're going through. All right? This is why we're out here on the highways and byways telling you, especially now, because this is all going to go to shit very soon here. The economy is going to collapse. Your money, as you know it, is not going to be any good, and everything's going to go digital. You think you know about slavery? Wait till this digital system takes hold. Back to the video.
Of behavior that has to do with all 9 areas of activity. It dominates everything that people do.
Yep.
In economics, education, entertainment, labor, law, politics, religion, sex, and war. And it affects everybody on the planet, directly and indirectly, whether they are aware of it or not. It's the dominating, motivating factor. There is no other dominating, motivating factor. That's why it's called supreme. It's the supreme form of government. All these other so-called forms of government, capitalism, democracy, republicanism, independentism, all the socialisms, communism, they don't matter when you start talking about the system of white supremacy. The system of white supremacy, in other words, dominating and mistreating people based on color, which is what it is. People who are classified as white, who have chosen in all of these areas of activity to dominate and mistreat people who are classified as non-white. And they do the classifying, by the way.
How about that?
The non-white people may say, well, I don't even think about color. I mean, I don't even want to. I mean, what's that got to do with anything? I have other things to do. But the white supremacist says, you're going to think about it because I'm going to make you think about it. I don't care what your plans are. You are going to think about color because you're going to regard color in any move that you make. And any move that you make is going to be on my turf, which is this entire planet. Now, that's the voice of the white supremacists when they speak to people who are non-white, even though in the refinement stage of white supremacy, which is where most of the planet is right now, they don't talk that way like they did in the old days. But that's what that means, that you will think about color because you will think about it because I want you to think about it. I want to remind you that white is right and that non-white doesn't matter. That's a bunch of scraps. You're scrap people. You're a bunch of junk. You're a bunch of heathens. You're a bunch of ne'er-do-wells. You're something that I can use as raw material for anything that I want. And you are not supposed to say anything about it. And even if you say anything about it, if I allow you to say anything about it, I'll just listen to it. And if I approve of what you're saying on occasion, then you can do it. Or you can activate whatever it is you're talking about. But remember, you're a bunch of scraps. And whatever you do has to come by me in any area of activity, any of the 9.
And that goes towards what's happening now with us. It wasn't too long ago that we couldn't be out here on the highways and byways. So this even more is letting you know how he's losing his grip, that his kingdom is falling. All right? Because we are the actual real threat to this man. Again, keeping it spiritual. 2 Corinthians chapter 10, verses 4 and 5. All right? This is not being carnal. And this is how he doesn't know how to respond. All right? As a result. Because his blessing was to the carnal. All right? Genesis 27th chapter. All right? So let's go down here. 2 Corinthians 10. And he's being exposed. That's my point. All right? And this is what Paul says. He says, for the weapons of our warfare are not carnal. And what is carnal? Pertaining to flesh, that is, by extension, bodily, temporal, all right? Or by implication, animal, all right? Fleshly. Keeping it spiritual, but mighty through the Most High to the pulling down of strongholds. What's those strongholds? Casting down imaginations, all right? Let's get that. What are those imaginations? All right, reasoning, conscience, thought, all right? And every high thing that exalted itself against the knowledge of Yahweh Yahushua, and bringing into captivity every thought to the obedience of Mashiach Yahushua. He's being exposed. He has used our book through the centuries. All right. To subjugate the real Israelites and prop himself up as if he, in our stead. All right. That's what he's done. All right. He's a liar and deceiver, hence devil. This is what a devil would do. As it says in Psalms 50 and verses 16 and 17, he took the covenant in his own mouth. It wasn't meant for him. So he got an answer for that. There's no way out of this.
Well, just by knowing who's behind it and why. And then just don't do it if you can possibly get away from it. But the white supremacists, they have decided that in the refinement stage of white supremacy, that more and more dark-skinned people throughout the world are beginning to become, after many, many, many millenniums, you might say, in a way of speaking, of just being kind of lethargic and out of it, you might say, and primitive, pitiful people, just world beggars, really. And some black people, some dark-skinned people, some people who are classified as non-white throughout the world started in the 1960s to kind of stir and say, enough already. Maybe we should become a different people. Maybe we should not be so primitive. Maybe we should be problem solvers, because we usually know how to make a lot of problems. We don't know how to solve the problems that we make, or solve the problems that other people make for us. So in the 1960s, people began to stir all over the world, non-white people, and began to use their brains rather than just use emotion to try to solve problems. Because black people, particularly, have been taught, well, use your emotions. If you run into a problem, just start screaming and yelling. And hope that it will all work out. If you lose your way going down the highway, just close your eyes and step on the gas and hope that it all works out. But don't use your brain. That's for the white supremacists to do. You've been given a brain. But just forget about the brain. Be body people. Don't be brain people. Be body people. Keep your body moving, even if you don't know where you're going. Just run around bumping into things. And if you bump into some black people while you're moving around, then lash out at them on account of they bumped into you and you bumped into them. And just keep doing that, because that's a part of my plan for you forever, because then I can always control you. But then the dark-skinned people start waking up, and they start saying, we got to come up with a sophisticated way to have them participate in going back to sleep. And so we will use chemicals to do that. We no longer want to just run them down, and beat them with clubs and shoot them with guns. That wakes them up. That keeps them alert. That makes them want to do something constructive. That makes their brain work at a certain level. So we don't want their brains to work at all. So what's the best way to do that? Make chemicals appealing. Give it some fancy name. Call it Harlem Sonata, and put it in a pink pill and tell them that's the latest thing, and that you're not very intelligent if you don't go out and get some right now. You won't be on the cutting edge of what's happening, because black people always want to know what's happening, because we're always looking for something new, because we're so desperate and for something different to happen from what has happened.
And that's another reason why, all right, that we're out there as that alternative, because nothing else has worked. All right, and again, this is going to be something that few of us, all right, are going to realize and discover. All right, it's not for the mass. All right, remember Zechariah 13:8, 2/3 of our people have got to go. They were purposely blinded. All right.
So the white supremacist always has something new for us, but it's always destructive.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care how it looks on the surface. They don't hand out things. They don't come and knock on your door to give you something, unless, without you, if you're really thinking, you should be saying, uh-oh, what are they up to now? They're coming to me. Usually, if they're coming to me, they're giving me something that really is not going to help me do anything constructive. If it's anything constructive, I have to run them down, trying to find them to help me do anything constructive. And when they see me coming, they run from me. But when they come and knock on your door and say, I have something for you people, just for you people that's just wonderful, and you need to take it, always jump back. Don't jump forward.
Mm-hmm.
Jump back and take a look at it and say, wait a minute, what is this? And if I buy into it, what's going to be the result? What is this you say you are doing for me? Just like they did in the ancient days when they encountered people that they call redskins or Indians.
Yep.
Or original people of
Savages.
the Western Hemisphere. They said, here, Chief, I have some water here for you. And it's not like the water you're used to. This is water with fire in it. You do understand fire, don't you, Chief? Don't you like fire? You use fire to do a lot of your chores. So I have some fire in the water. Take a swig. And to let you know that I'm not trying to trick you, again, I'm going to take a swig. And that's one thing you really have to watch for. The skilled white supremacists, the refined white supremacists, will always do a little bit and sometimes a lot of what they're trying to get you to do. Whether it's a tattoo, or whether it's a swig of whiskey, or whether it's a new drug that's going to destroy you in the end. But they know how to go about doing it in such a way that you wind up being more devastated than them.
Mm-hmm.
Now, any person who's tried to seduce somebody, say, with alcohol, knows the old trick of sitting in the booth, in the bar, and this person that has ill intent is trying to seduce the female. What will he do? He'll say, oh, you don't know about this new type of vodka. Oh, this is wonderful.
and you'll feel good, and it won't harm you. And to show you that you should take it, because I'm doing you a favor, I'm letting you drink out of my bottle. I'll pour it into your glass, and I will take some myself. But you know the old trick. He takes a little bit, or he might take a lot, and he'll drink it. Then he'll pay you, give you a little bit or a lot. But then little by little, he's taking less and less. And more, you're getting drunker and drunker. But he stopped getting drunk an hour ago. He's a little bit woozy, but he's still in control. That's the key. Who's in control after it's all over?
Yep.
And it's the same way with the drugs. It's the same way even with educational systems.
Mm-hmm.
The white supremacy will tell you something in a classroom that's absolutely true. But then he'll mix in something that's totally false.
There you go.
But by then, you are all going for the truth. You have to pick out. You really have to pick it, just like picking out
Pick
the
out the
poison
meat from the
anything.
bones.
You have to sort it out. And that really takes a little doing. You have to be alert that the person is really doing that, because they'll give you a little bit of something constructive, and then they'll little by little put in a whole lot that's non-constructive. And the next thing you know, that's how they maintain domination and control,
Especially
of
through the
their
music.
mistreatment. So that's all you can do at this time, because the white supremacists, and you just have to keep doing it. You have to be persistent, like the ant. You just have to keep saying it, just like we're saying it now. Is this constructive? What's going to be the result of you taking this new poison that's out here now? What's going to be the ultimate result? Are you going to improve? Is your entire existence? Are you going to have more money and be able to do things in a much more efficient manner? And is everybody going to prosper as a result of this in a constructive manner? Or is this going to be destructive? And you're going to become more dependent on nonsense and be chasing after more and more nonsense and agonizing over it, and probably wind up being dead earlier than you should, or being locked up, or being, just thrown to the side of the road and just be a piece of junk, which is what they call the stuff. They call it junk. It's chemicals, cocaine and marijuana and all like that. They call it junk. They call it junk. And then we take it and we look and act like junk. Walk down the street and let's take a look at black people. Sometimes just walking down the street. We look like junk piles sometimes. And it looks like we just go and try to make ourselves look even junkier, rather than something that's vibrant, something that's growing, an organism.
So there you go. He hasn't told you anything that Great Millstone and others affiliated haven't been telling you for years. Let's get this real quick. This is Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 15. Woe unto him that giveth his neighbor drink. Remember, you talking about the fire water that they did to Gad? That puttest thy bottle to him and makest him drunken also, that thou mayest look on their nakedness. And indeed, that's what they did. All right. And then make fun of Gad. All right, because Gad just did not have much of a tolerance for that, of course. All right, and has decimated that population, that coupled with not having much as far as a reservation goes, and that was done on purpose. And the little wealth that they did manage to get. And that movie, what was it? Something about the Flower Moon. Hold on. Was a prime example, and you wonder why that didn't win any awards, because it was the truth. Let's see. Flower Moon. I can't remember the first part of it. Let's see. Killers of the Flower Moon. There it is. All right. Set in 1920s Oklahoma. It focuses on a series of murders of Osage members and relations in the Osage Nation after oil was discovered on tribal land. All right, it's a very good movie. I recommend it. But yeah, this is to all the tribes. All right, but this man will pay for this. That's guaranteed. All right, let's go back.
It seems to have some constructive purpose. We just look like something that's getting ready to head for the trash heap. And we deliberately do this. Just a walking junkyard. You can see the tombstones in our eyes, so to speak. And the white supremacists are behind it. That's all we can do is just keep pointing it out. Because we are allowing it to happen, and it doesn't have to happen. All we got to do is just say, no, I'm not doing anything, ever, unless you can show me that it has constructive results. I don't care if you're white or non-white. If you come to me with something, make a proposal to me or give me something, I'm going to say, is this constructive or not? If you say something to me, I'll ask that. Wait a minute, is this conversation going to be constructive? Or is it going to be non-constructive? There's no such thing as in between. Because if it's going to be non-constructive, I don't have time for non-constructive conversation. I don't have anything against you. I'm not mad at you. Now, some people have said they've seen some cartoons of my work.
So there you go. You know, like I said, he passed away February of 2025. You know, and they're adapting these videos to current events. You know, it's all well and good, but you know, you use these to drive home a point, add scriptures to them, like we do with everything else. You know, but he was on point on a whole lot of this. All right, he just didn't understand the implications of it as concerning the scriptures and how we relate to that. At least I don't think he did. I've never heard anything other than, you know, what I'm hearing from concerning, you know, these videos. But yeah, we've been talking about dark and black. Yeah, all these you know, it's the same old devil that we're working with, you know, working against us, working against us. You know, in Revelation 12, you're getting ready to see these horns because he, deep down, he knows this is his time. His time is up. And Revelation 12 and 12 tells you, as a result of that, it says, woe to the inhabitants. Let me get that real quick. Because he don't want to give this up. This is having everyone, especially the Israelites, under subjection. Oh, no, I can't. No. The woman and the dragon. The woman represents the nation of Israel, and the dragon, the self-professed so-called white man, the nation of Edom, and his system, quote-unquote system. All right, this beast system that we're under. All right. It's EU, NATO. All right, verse 12, it says, therefore, rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. And of course, Christian Church is going to try to say this is Lucifer and talking about the, according to them, the angel that was cast down. You know, they're still into that, not understanding it's just talking about a people, all right, very much mortal, all right. Yeah, and everything's being set up as we speak. The technology is ripe. We're at the stage now, so all roads lead to the MOTB. This is what he wants. All right, as I mentioned earlier in the video, there's scriptures, Daniel 12:1, and others that talk about there's never, especially Daniel 12:1, this day that's coming upon the earth is unlike any other before or any such is going to be after it. All right, because again, this is why I read this scripture here. Coming down with great wrath. All right, because he's a spoil sport. All right, let's look that up. By nature, this is, let's see. I think it's 2 words. Hold on. A spoil sport is a person who ruins other people's fun or an event like rain that stops an activity from beginning. Similar words include killjoy, wet blanket, and party pooper. That's what this devil is. He can't stand it. White, so-called white woman just came out. I did a video on it. Has it been 2 weeks now? And she told you her people can't stand when we're happy. When we're having fun. This is how miserable these people are. All right, here it is, the people that you had under subjection for hundreds of years. All right, that's gotten you incredibly wealthy. As you know, I mean, if you're not, this is your system. That's on you. Complain to your brethren about not sharing the wealth. That ain't our fault. All right. Boo hoo hoo, you know. But this is what she was saying. I wish I could pull it up. I can't remember. But yeah, she spilled the beans. I mean, we always knew this in our heart. You know, you can just sense it. But to actually, if someone come out and say, "Yeah, this is we can't stand to see you motherfucking blacks happy." Think about the mindset of a person that would, or a people like that. These people are the lowest of the low, these Edomites. And it tells you that through scriptures. Yeah, spoil sport. Somehow that just came into my head. Yeah. All right, well, point's been made. That's I don't want to dwell on it too long. Simple enough. This is why we got to get up out of here. And for those of you, like I said, I used the example of this young man that was murdered, and now all this stuff is coming out, and how they basically shut down the investigation. And let's be honest, it didn't take very much for them to do that, because you can tell law enforcement down there, this is the history of the South in general, but in particular Mississippi. I don't give a shit about Jake. Never did, never will. All right. And they close ranks fast, as I said. So, but it's enough out there for at least probable cause for them to investigate. I hear they're going to have a grand jury. I don't know what that's about, as far as, because usually grand juries are for, you know, hey, somebody going to get some charges. But we'll see. This place is falling fast, and it's a beautiful thing. So with that, until the next video, and I would like to say also, remain circumspect out here, all right? Because in the coming days, it's only going to get worse. Remember, these people in general are catching it, but certain people have had the privilege, all right, and that's quickly faded away, you know, with their last vote didn't go the way they thought it would. They're finding out that this person that they elected didn't give a shit about them. And that's the billionaires club, you know. So with that, until the next video, hey, shalom.